Hi, today we are going to use AI functions in Power Query window, and we have already selected summary column in from our dataset UFO Sightings. And if you look at the right side, there is those options are available. We are going to use text analytics today. And once we click on text analytics, you have a couple of options. So let us try to go ahead and click that. Once we click that, like I said, there are many options. There are three options you're going to get. You can detect the language, you can extract key phrases, and also you can use core sentiment. For now, today we'll try to use core sentiment, and once we select that, and again, it depends on the capacity what you're using for AI insights. I'm using default here. So once based on your company and your license, these options will change. And once we select the summary, that has a lot of sentences. So I thought I can use summary column and click OK. Once we click OK, it will take few minutes. Maybe in my case, it took about 5 minutes for the processing to be done. And every step of the way, like always, Power Query will tell you what exactly is happening in the background. Once we do that and close and apply, that particular applied steps show up on the right hand side. And also on the left hand side, that's a function which is created, score sentiment. And once this is processed, like I said, it takes about 3 or 4 minutes. Once we do that, we have a column appearing in our data set. And this is a, as you can see, it's not a numeric column. You have to change that into a numeric column, maybe a decimal in our case. Once we do that and go to table view, whatever applied steps happened in Power Query window will show up in the Power BI desktop. As you can see, that's a column which was created. And once that column is there, we'll try to maybe use that column values and create additional column. We can just click on, we are already there in column tools. Let us try to click on new column. Once we click on that, and let us try to maybe use if statement. And if statement will say, hey, if the values, the score sentiment value is say 0.67, make it as positive. And if it is maybe more than 0.33, make it as neutral. And anything less than that, make it as negative. So we'll try to use that. I'm thinking maybe we have to use switch statement. I think that is much cleaner because we have to use nested if here, because we have three things we want to extract out of that score sentiment. We want to create positive, neutral, and negative. So we have to use another condition, if condition. So instead, maybe I'll try to use this, or maybe I'll try to create a switch statement. Switch statement, I think it looks cleaner, so I've switched on to that. Switch true, it's a very simple thing. If the score sentiment is greater than 0.67, it is positive, 0.33 neutral, and otherwise it's negative. So that way we have sentiment type column. As you can see on the right, it has all those three options which we have created. So this is one step which you need to do in case if you want to count the sentiment, right? Because these are decimal numbers, score sentiment, so it's always a good idea for us to have some kind of string so that we can play around with it. So once we have that column, as I said, sentiment type, and we have three types: positive, neutral, and negative. So remember, these things are coming from our sentiment score column. So now that we have done that, I've just created three measures. I've just counted the positive number of positives. It's a simple calculate statement, and we count the sentiment type. And the condition, filter condition, is if it is positive, then count those positives. If it is neutral, count those neutrals. If it is negative, count those negatives. So give me those numbers. It's very simple measures. So I've created three measures. So quickly I'm just showing you those three measures. So you can just go ahead, if you're following along, you can just go ahead and create those three measures. So those three measures are there. And once we have done that, the next step is pretty simple. We want to calculate the percentage. We already know, we have already created in earlier videos total sightings. So all we have to do is divide the positive by numerator is number of positive count, and denominator is total sightings. You get the divide, and make all those usual format changes. You can make it into percentage and all, right? So that is what we have been doing in many of these videos. So I have done that for neutral and negative. So we have created 6 measures in all. So that way we have those 6 measures, we can use them in our report page. So in the earlier videos, we were just talking about how to create folders and subfolders in a measures table. So let us go to model view. Once we are in model view, if you select any of those measures in our measures table, that will tell you what is the name, what is the home table, which home table it belongs to. If you have a description, you can enter the description and you can add synonyms. And also there is a display folder. For now, if you see this, I have just put those measures in a sightings timeline folder in measures table. So now that we have created, freshly created these 6 measures, I thought I can show, I take this time to show you how we can do those things, how we can create those folders in the measures table. So let me just go ahead and try to select the measure. Say let me try to take the positive count. Once I click on positive, like I said, you have the display folder. Now it is empty because it is in a measures table, but there is no folder. So let me just go ahead and create a folder. It's a very simple thing. If you start typing the name of the folder which you want, automatically that folder, the measure which you have selected will go into that folder. Like we have selected the count of positive, number of positive will go automatically into that sentiment analysis. So next step is pretty easy. Whatever measures you think should go into this folder, you can just drag them onto that folder. It's like I'm showing you. So all those 3 measures are there in sentiment analysis. So I think it is much neater. The measures table itself, all the measures living in that measure table itself is pretty clean. And also we are separating everything from dimension tables. So that way we have a separate measures living in the measures table. And on top of that, if you have any kind of folders, you can create them. And if you want a subfolder, all you have to do is backslash after the name of the folder and name appropriately. Like in this case, I have used as count. So I thought I can push all these counts into one subfolder under sentiment analysis, so that at a future date, if you're referring to this particular PBI file, you can easily recollect what is there, and everything is organized. And someone else is looking at this report, it's easy for them to understand. And on mainly all the measures are kind of organized. So in this case, we have moving average separately, miscellaneous separately, shapes analysis separately, sightings timeline separately. All those things are separate. So if you remember, for the past so many videos, we have used and created a lot of measures. We have created many report pages, and all these measures are separately in measures table. And now that by using model view, if you do this, not only they live in the measures table and also in separate folders. So similarly, for all the percentages, I've just created a percentage. You can name it in whatever fashion you want, and I've just named it percentage. Now that I've done that, I'll just push the neutral and positive into that folder. So that way, I have a folder in measures table called as sentiment analysis, and I have also have subfolders under sentiment analysis like count and percentage. So this way it is pretty neat, and also the measures are organized. And if you want to refer back to any of these measures at a future date, it's pretty easy. So now that we have done this, let us try to close them and let us try to go back. Like I said, it is pretty organized neatly, and let us try to go back to the report page. And I have already created a report page. Let me show you that. It's a very simple report page. I've used all these 6 measures in the report page. Only thing is I've downloaded a custom visual. I've downloaded a play access. You can just use app source and go to app source and try to download this custom visual. It's a pretty neat visual, and I've used play access, and I've added country name to the data there. Once we have that, like I said, go to from app source and download that. And once you have that, drag it onto the canvas on the left and add the country name column from the UFO sightings table. So that is there. And on the bottom left, you have your matrix, and matrix we have added decade bin as the columns. The rows, sorry, and also the values we have added all those 4 total sightings and the positive count, negative count, and neutral count. So those are the things, and I've kind of tweaked in the format section and made all those conditional formattings. and you can go ahead, it's up to you. And also I've added 3 gauge charts, and I've added positive, neutral and negative measures what we have created earlier. So this is how I've done. And if you are following along, pause the video and look at the measures and look at the visuals. It's pretty easy. And also on the right, you see a bar chart. I've added the sentiment type to it. And once we have that, we have all the visuals on the report page. Once you click on play button, it will show you by country. So this is, I thought it's a cool effect where you can see all the sightings, all the positive, neutral and negative counts in the matrix. And also in the gauge charts, you have all those percentages changing. And of course, in your bar chart, those things are changing. So I think it's a cool way. You can look at it. You can play around with the play axis and change the country names. And you can add more slicers too. Obviously, in case if you want any kind of slices, you can add to the report page. Once we do that, we have a pretty good looking report. And we started using, in a conclusion, we have just started using Power Query, and we have used AI functions, text analysis, and we got this sentiment score. And from in the Power BI desktop, we created a column. We calculated the sentiment type by giving some conditions. Once we have that, we count it, and we have also counted the percentage, and we have created a report page which has all these visuals. And we have kind of scratched the surface. There are many things you can do in AI functions. So this is a good looking report. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.